Yeah, mobile programmatic is it's the automation of buying and selling digital media, specifically mobile media. And there's a variety of markets and technologies that revolve around that. So there's RTB is probably the most frequently used term in technology. And then within RTB, there's a variety of markets. There's an open market or open auction. There's private marketplaces, and programmatic direct.
The value to the advertising community is the ability to create transparency in the supply sources that they want to market their applications to, and give them an idea of what the cost basis ultimately is for displaying impressions.
The difference between programmatic mobile and desktop is, on a conceptual level, there's not a big difference. It's the same thing. You're serving ads into digital environment, and especially as mobile and desktop are blurring, it's becoming more and more the same. But there are certain differences, especially when it comes to in-app environment on mobile, where measurements are much more difficult, where identifying unique users in a cookieless environment is much more difficult. So there are certain technical differences, and then there are obviously differences in terms of screen sizes and types of publishers where you put your ads.
The difference in mobile is it's a completely different form factor outside of desktop, which has been the standard obviously for quite a while. But with mobile, it's a new way of reaching users in a more engaging way, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
On the media side, there are inventory problems. So you can buy inventory programmatically, but a lot of times this inventory doesn't have, it's not of a very good quality. So that's probably one of the biggest problems. Transparency is another problem, both in terms of audience buying as well as other measurements concerning engagement of consumers with this creative. And on the creative side, the biggest problem is really how to leverage data for the creative. That's a big challenge because creative is typically not something that machines would do very, very well. So how to automate that, how to bring the programmatic piece, the data piece into creative, it's a big challenge.
So some of the concerns that the industry should be aware of when it comes to mobile programmatic is really around transparency and making sure that the data elements are not leaked, if you will. So if we're capturing device information, capturing user information, we want to make sure that that information is protected and leveraged in the right way.
Of course, programmatic can exist with creative, and it should. This is how, let's say, human progress has always happened, right? So we develop tools, and programmatic is a tool to make creativity easier and better. So we build tools in order to be more creative. So I don't think that there's a conflict between the two at all. I think that this both creative and programmatic should work hand in hand and kind of help improve each other. So when we do technological innovation on the, let's say, programmatic side, and this should help push creativity forward.
How does mobile programmatic and creativity mix? So basically Mad Men and Math Men together, right? So how that can happen today, and we're doing this at the IAB, is standards around native formats, so emerging ad formats, video, and allowing these emerging ad formats to have programmatic elements. So adding the data elements with these new innovative ad formats are going to help us move the industry forward when it comes to new creative formats.